Hey, you're watching Vinyl for Miles, your best resource for music and vinyl reviews. Today we're going to talk about the proper way to pack and ship your vinyl records. Stick around. So if you're new to vinyl collecting and you don't have a whole lot of cash, you're probably going to turn to selling your records, trading your records, making deals, what have you. But at some point, you're probably gonna have to package up your records and ship them via USPS, UPS, FedEx, whatever suits you. What I'm here to do is teach you the proper way to pack your records. I've had one too many records come to me from private parties, completely broken, snapped in half, damaged, and I have a lot of tips and tricks that you can take advantage of when packing your records to avoid all of this. So first things first, when you're shipping a record, you're gonna need a record mailer. There's a few things you can do. If you're like me and you buy a ton of records online, you get a lot of stuff shipped to your house, you can reuse mailers with some conditions, which I'll get to. The second thing is you can go online and buy in bulk a bunch of different mailers. My favorite is the Mighty mailer, which is widely used by labels. You can check that out online. I'll put a link below. You can also get some bulk record LP mailers, 12-inch mailers from China on some other sites like Alibaba and some other Chinese sites, which you can get pretty cheap. You can make your own, which I don't recommend. I would never do that. Or you can pack them in a bigger box, which I'm not even gonna outline that because if you're gonna mail a record, by all means use a record mailer. So let's go over the first method I talked about with mailers, reusing mailer. You only wanna do this if the mailer is in perfect condition and has no bends, no breaks in it, no holes in it. Basically, if it's like a brand new mailer. I buy a lot of records off Amazon.com from various sellers. Well, most of the time, all of my records I get from Amazon arrive to me with the mailer untouched because it's inside a bigger box. There's a lot of padding in there. The mailer is like practically brand new. It's just been sitting in their warehouse. Here's a great example of a mailer from Amazon.com. They typically use International Papers mailers, which are very high quality. And what you're gonna do is inspect your mailer to make sure there's no bends, which on this one, it is like literally near perfect condition here. You can see there's nothing wrong with this. And as you can see as well, it hasn't been opened yet. So step one, don't tear into the tab. Stop where you're at. This is in great condition, right? Your record's in there. Reach underneath the lip of the record here. You can use like a knife, a pair of scissors like I have here. And what you're gonna do is lift the corner, like I'm doing here. Lift up the corner. You see how it's starting to lift? That's gonna break the glue that's there. Then you can take your hand and fully open it. And then your lip should pop up just like this. You can take your record out and keep the mailer. This is in perfect condition. I could totally reuse this mailer. This cost me $0 to get, right? If you get your mailer, and let's just say it looks like this. This is bent on the corner here. This entire corner is pretty jacked up. I would not reuse this to ship somebody a record. This would go in the trash. This is also not the best kind of mailer. This is just an open sleeve. There's really nothing in there to protect the record. So I would advise don't use just open envelope mailers like this unless you're gonna put cardboard protectors in there to protect your record. All right, so the great thing about Amazon mailers and Mighty mailers, International Papers mailers, they're multi-layered mailers. So if you look here, you can see there's more than one layer. You have cardboard sides here, which come in. There's the slot for your record, and your record actually slips between those two triangles here and here. These press down, and the record goes right inside there. You close it, and it's like airtight in here. The record can't move around. There's no margin for error unless someone tries to snap it in half. I have a lot of these, and what I'm gonna do is just open this up a little more to show you how good these mailers actually are and why I save every single Amazon mailer I get. The mailer opens up again, so you can see there's now two surface areas for your record to go into. And then these open up as well to house your records. There's a few things you need to invest in when you're gonna start shipping records, whether you're opening up your own vinyl shop online or you're just doing buy, sell, trade. If you're gonna be shipping out a lot of records, there's a few things you need to invest in. Some things you can actually save a lot of money on, and some of the other things you're just gonna have to fork out the money. So the first thing you need is good packaging tape. It's called Duct Tape HD Clear. I've always used this, or Gorilla Tape Clear. It's super thick, it's not gonna come loose. The thing is, if you're shipping a record to somebody, you're responsible for making sure it's packed properly. Don't use cheap tape. I also invested in a nice little handle for packaging like you use in warehouses. It just helps me get it done faster. The second thing having to do with packing you should invest in is cardboard inserts, which are shaped like a record, which I have here. It's literally a 12-inch piece of cardboard. You can buy these online. They're called 12-inch cardboard inserts, which I can put a link below, or you can make these yourself. And all you have to do to make these yourself is save your Amazon boxes when they ship them to you. You can open them up, take one of your LPs that you have in your house. You can just trace your LP on a piece of cardboard and pull it in about 1/2 inch and then just cut out squares out of cardboard. Literally, this is just a cardboard square. If you wanna get fancy, you can buy a big thing of bubble wrap and cut out 12-inch squares of bubble wrap. I use bubble wrap more than I use the cardboard inserts because a lot of my mailers are pretty high quality and really tight as it is. Half of this stuff I have here, I just saved. So someone ships me a record, Amazon ships me a record, I save all the packaging in there. And the last thing that you're gonna need, which I think is honestly one of the most important things, is stock up on your sleeves. One of the biggest damage reports that we get with vinyl records, damage to the spine. I have this Metallica record. Listen. Do you hear the record bouncing around in there? That record is putting all of its force onto the spine here, which is a hard surface, and the spine is where you have like the label. The more it hits during shipping, that record hitting that wall, the more you're gonna see that paper fray and you're gonna get a split on your spine. You're also going to get a split inner sleeve, which is very, very annoying, especially when you're spending a lot of money on a record. You get it, the inner sleeve is split, your spine is split. I purchased brand new records and that happens. The way you avoid this, open your record, inspect it to make sure it's not damaged, because manufacturers do have defects. The last thing you want is to sell a brand new record, have the person send it back to you because A, it has a damaged spine, which wasn't damaged when you shipped it. B, the record might have pivots from the manufacturer or scratches from the manufacturer that you didn't know about because you didn't inspect the record. And C, you might have some damaged inner sleeves or inserts. You just don't know. It might be missing a download code. So I always open my brand new records, I break the seal, and in my description when I'm selling or trading, I say opened for inspection and grading. Always want to do that. You can still grade this near mint or mint if it's opened. Totally fine. So I always open my records, inspect them, and when I ship them, I never put the record in the outer sleeve. That's why I have poly sleeve that I put on the outside. So put all of the included inserts into your outer sleeve like this. So, and your download code. Make sure you always give your customer download code unless it's expired, if you haven't used them yet. I take my poly sleeve. So now you have a somewhat sealed record, right, in a poly sleeve. Then you're going to take your vinyl record and find where your opening is. So you see this opening here where you take the record in and out? You're gonna want that to be sideways, either facing left or right, and then put that in the outer sleeve as well. Just like this. So now this is what my record looks like. An outer poly sleeve with the outer sleeve. And then you can see I put in the record with its protective sleeve on the outside of the record, so don't put it inside. And then now if I go back and forth, you still hear it moving, but the force of that record is just hitting this outer poly sleeve. It's not gonna rip this outer poly sleeve, it's totally fine. And we're actually gonna make it even tighter before I ship it. If you followed all those steps while packaging this thing, inspect the record, grade it properly, you're gonna put it in a poly outer sleeve, and there's still gonna be an opening on top. So to take care of the opening on top, I have a trick that I do. I take a piece of tape, I'm gonna pull out here. Typically anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of tape should be fine, which is pretty sticky. You don't wanna seal your record with sticky tape. So what you're gonna do is get another piece of tape, which will be half the size of the bigger piece. I take both the sticky sides, right? And I put them together right in the middle with a smaller piece in the middle, like that. So now there's no stickiness in the middle, right? I just sealed it. So I put 2 pieces of tape together so that it's smooth here, there's no stickiness, and then the outer tabs still have stickiness to them. And what you do is you take the spot that has no stickiness so it's not gonna peel off and damage your record, and you put that directly over the opening, like this, So now we can see that that piece of tape is just kind of dangling off, right? And then when I fold it over, the bottom side of the tape is not sticky, so it's not going to damage my record. I fold it over like so. And now I just sealed the top. So now, so you see my record's not falling out. It has barely any room to move around in here. So this is as safe as I possibly can get it. It's kind of sealed. You might see this at record shops, but most of the time they don't do what I just did and take a smaller piece of tape and stick it to the main sticky part that goes over. So now when the person gets this in the mail and they're opening it, they can open this and be guaranteed that this tape's not gonna rip off anything. All right, so now let's get to the actual packaging. Typically what you do, let's just say you were using that cheap mailer I showed you earlier. So you're gonna get your insert, and you're going to put one insert on the front of the record, and you're gonna take a second insert and put it on the back of the record, like this. So now the record's in between both of these cardboard inserts, giving it double protection. And you can take your big mailer, whatever kind of mailer you're using. If it's not like a triple layer mailer, this is what I do. This just has an opening, right? So I'm gonna take my record sandwiched in between both of these protectors and feed it into here, like so. So now when you look at it on the inside, it should look like a hamburger or something, right? You got your cardboard outer, you got two inserts, the record in the middle, and you can close it like this. Then you would tape it, seal it, ship it off. You know that your record is safe. It has double the protection in it. And if someone tries to bend it, it's gonna be much harder to bend the record, much harder to damage the outside. It's secure. Let's say you don't have the cardboard inserts. Well, you can use massive bubble wrap and just cut out 12-inch squares. And you can put bubble wrap on the front and bubble wrap on the back. That's not gonna give you the rigidness that you would get with two pieces of cardboard, but that's better than nothing. Do the sound test before you ship your records to your customers. Shake them around, and if all you hear moving around is a little piece of paper, that's good. If you hear the record bouncing around and you feel the record bouncing around, don't ship it, repackage it. So that's using cheap mailers. If you're using these kind, you can do one of two things. You can either look at the insert and see how much room you have and use one piece of cardboard, because again, there's 3 layers to this. These 2 sides right here give a lot of protection. So what you can do, use one insert instead of 2. You can do one of 2 things. You can either fit it through here, like I'm doing now, all the way in, like this. It should be really tight. So now if you look in here, you can see that we have, let me feel, we have the outer layer protecting it, so that's one insert. Then you have your record, and then you have this triangle shock absorber that's built into this mailer because it's a high quality mailer. And if we look on here, this is still intact for the customer, so what you can do is use Gorilla Glue if you want, and you could re-glue this and just, you know, put a little bit of weight on there and hold it there for about, I don't know, a minute, and then that glue is gonna set, and it's like they have a brand new sealed record from the manufacturer. Or you can use high quality tape and tape this. Now the customer, when they get it, can just pull the tab, rip it open like it's a brand new record. And it also makes your shop online look much more professional if you glue it, because it looks like they have a brand new sealed mailer. Now let's do the shake test. This one sounds even better. I'm not even hearing the paper move around, so that means that there's a nice tight seal in here. Nice tight seal. So always do the sound test. Just so you see, if you do get these mailers from Amazon and you do want to break the glue here, it does open up and it's much easier to pack them. You could put them in flat and then just pull over these 2 little wings, close the top like this. That's how they do it in the manufacturer, like in the factory, that's how they actually do it. And then you can close the top, re-glue this like we mentioned. 1 or 2 cardboard inserts or 1 or 2 pieces of bubble wrap, you should be good. When you print your label, you can use sticker paper or whatever you're using. Write the word fragile, do not bend on here. Always write the word fragile on anything you send out. I bought a bunch of these stickers on Amazon, it's super cheap. So now what I do is I put a fragile sticker on the back, like this, so they know it's fragile. And then I stick one on the front, like this. So fragile on the front, fragile on the back, Never trust the mail people. Just imagine everybody's stupid when they get your package and write all over it. Fragile on the front and the back. Make sure that there's no angle they can view this package without seeing that it's fragile. I can't tell you how many times I've personally seen someone, whether it's UPS or FedEx, just throw my record onto my porch, or I've actually seen a mailman try to fit a freaking record into my mailbox thinking maybe it was a magazine or a book. That's it, that's how you package your records. So the very last part of this video is shipping methods. I would highly recommend you get an account with this company called Pirate Ship. So go ahead and go to the link below. I'm gonna put Pirate Ship's link below. They let you set up an account and print labels, and they actually get a pretty big discount compared to going straight to USPS.com. When you ship through USPS, you can use something called media mail. Media mail is reserved for music, for videos, for books, for educational materials, and vinyl records. I've been shipping through media mail 5 years now. I've never had a single issue, and it's usually about like $2 to $3 through Pirate Ship to ship a record. So if you're selling on Discogs, I typically charge $4 to $5 just for like materials, you know, getting your packaging, your protection, your tape, your stickers, all that stuff, and your mailer. It just pays you back for materials, and then it costs about $3. If you're shipping an expensive record, which I typically do, get insurance, 100%. Don't even chance it. Buy insurance, put the actual value on there. It's worth $80 to $1.50, depending on how much your record's worth, to pay for that insurance. That way you're covered, and then if the customer gets it and it's all jacked up, then you know exactly what the issue is. And make sure you buy tracking. That way you can update the person who you're trading or buying with or selling to exactly where the package is. And if you inspect it, even take a few pictures on your cell phone of the condition of it when you ship it. That way if it arrives to them bent in half with holes in it or whatever, you can say this was damaged by the mailer, not by me. I packaged it correctly up to par with standards when it comes to packaging this type of media. I hope these tips were helpful to you. I've been doing this for a few years now. I just got through a huge purge in my record collection because I've been out of room in my storage area now for almost a year. So I purged through my records, I followed these tips, and I haven't had a single issue shipping any of my records out. If anything, I've had positive feedback from people saying this was very well professionally packaged, and it will create return customers. So if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up, leave some comments below. Is there something I missed? Is there something that you do when you package your records that's better than what I do? If so, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, so check out some other videos if you're interested. Give me a subscribe if you want to see some more content from me. And until next time, I'm Michael. Thanks for watching.